Hello everyone. Welcome to the HealthTech Explorers channel. Today we will talk about a machine learning method called semi-supervised learning. We will explain how this method works and how it can be applied in medicine. What is semi-supervised learning? Semi-supervised learning is a method that combines elements of both supervised and unsupervised learning. We have partially labeled data, meaning we only have a small portion of data with labels, while the rest of the data is unlabeled. Imagine you are trying to teach a model to distinguish between apples and bananas. You have several pictures of apples and bananas labeled as apple and banana. Let's say 100 images. But you also have thousands of other images depicting various fruits. But they are unlabeled. We don't know what's in the images, and we can't immediately tell if it's an apple or a banana. In traditional supervised learning, where we have all labeled data, the algorithm uses these labels to learn and classify objects. But in semi-supervised learning, we only have a small amount of labeled data and a huge amount of unlabeled data. Here's where it gets interesting. We use both labeled and unlabeled data to train the model. The algorithm starts by learning from the images that are already labeled, like the 100 images of apples and bananas, to understand what an apple is and what a banana is. But the algorithm doesn't stop there. It begins to analyze the unlabeled data, like the thousands of other images of fruits, to find patterns, common traits. Even if it doesn't know exactly what's in the images, it can still identify characteristics of apples and bananas, such as shape, color, or texture, and use this data to improve its ability to recognize fruits. In this way, the algorithm uses both types of data, labeled and unlabeled, to learn more efficiently. It can infer information about new, unlabeled images based on the data that is already labeled. Now let's explore some applications in medicine and pharmacology. Medical image analysis. One of the most popular examples of using semi-supervised learning is medical image analysis. In real-world practice, we often have only a small amount of labeled data, such as X-ray images with diagnoses, while most of the images remain unlabeled. With semi-supervised learning, we can effectively use both labeled and unlabeled images to train models that can recognize diseases, such as cancer or tumors, even with limited labeled data. Genetic data analysis. In genetics, there is a lot of data obtained from genome sequencing, but only some of it is labeled. For example, we have genetic information about patients, but not all data has accurate labels regarding disease presence. Semi-supervised learning helps to use all this data, both labeled and unlabeled, to create models that can identify genetic markers for diseases like cancer or diabetes. Processing text data from medical reports. Semi-supervised learning can also be applied to process text data from medical reports. For instance, reports often have partially labeled data, such as diagnoses or symptoms, but other parts of the text are unlabeled. Models can use both labeled and unlabeled data to extract information and classify texts, such as determining a patient's condition or identifying diseases from text. The semi-supervised learning method allows us to effectively work with medical and pharmaceutical data, where only part of the data is labeled and the rest is not. This helps significantly improve model training by using unlabeled data to refine and optimize results, which is especially important in fields such as medical diagnostics, pharmacology, and genetics. In the next videos of this series, we will continue exploring other machine learning methods. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new videos.